think it's high time that we
one
bring
of
in
them's
our
fallen
next
to us.
guest as well, Thomas Ritchie from the Denver Broncos UK. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Nice to join you all, gents.
Thank you very much for coming on. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself to kick us off?
Yeah, well, I've been a Broncos fan for 7 years now, I think. No, longer than that. 9 years. Peyton Manning's first year. Wasn't Peyton Manning related. I had no idea who he was when he joined the Broncos. It was just a bit of luck that I watched a random late night Broncos game and they were playing against the Falcons. I think I ended up making the right choice out of the two teams there anyway. So yeah, I'm from Leeds. That's me.
All right, Ryan, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. Morning, Thomas. So for you, in this first round, what are your needs now? What are you thinking after the Bridgewater trade? Where are you leaning towards? Who would you like to see taken?
I don't think the Bridgewater trade changes anything. I think he's going to be the backup to, well, he could be out Drew Lock, I suppose, but he would be the backup to Drew Lock or the backup to a rookie or the backup to Aaron Rodgers, as Twitter has been going into overdrive in the last hour. I think a bit of water has been poured on that for the time being, but
let's hope not. Let's pour some petrol on that, not water.
I think you're looking at Justin Fields in a dream scenario right now for the Broncos. You know, taking Rodgers out of the equation. I still think quarterback is the biggest need. Until you've got a quarterback, you're not going to go anywhere in this league.
Like you say, Fields has potentially fallen. Like the 49ers taking Lance has opened up quite a few options for Denver. You could possibly see a trade up very soon if possible.
Yeah, I think especially if a team like the Patriots is interested in Fields, they're going to have to jump up to, at least get to where they wanted to go. I was hoping that the 49ers did take Mac Jones because, I quite liked the possibility of Trey Lance coming in there. He wouldn't have to start straight away with Teddy Bridgewater. Obviously, that's off the table now. So, yeah, I think jumping up to 6 could be the spot. If the Broncos are in love with Justin Fields, you've got to do what you've got to do to go get him now.
Yeah. So if we were looking at later rounds outside of the first, what are your other needs? Is there any players you've really fallen for that you think would suit the Broncos in other areas?
I think linebacker is a need as well. That's probably the one position where someone could come in and start straight away outside of quarterback. So, I mean, I've seen Baron Browning, floated around in the second round. Who knows where Micah Parsons will go? Probably in the first round. Maybe the Broncos will trade back from 9 and pick him up, a few picks below if they decide linebacker is the route to go. But I think, the Broncos probably need a linebacker, and then you're just looking at safety depth and maybe a right tackle as well at some point. But I'm not sure either of those guys are going to be starting straight away. So you can look at them in the 3rd and 4th.
Just a quick one, guys. The Falcons have not traded their pickers in for number 4.
Got to be Kyle Pitts then, hasn't it? Because anyone else is wrong.
It better not be Justin Fields.
Here we go.
Oh, hang on.
And here we go.
You're
Here we
in
go.
front of me, so I'm gonna
Spoil it for us, Steve. You're ahead of us. Do it.
It's Pitts.
Yeah, there we go. Had to be.
All right. Well, that's good news for the Broncos anyway.
He's wearing a very substantial bow tie, Pitts is. He looks like a sort of 1940s band leader.
Has anyone got any questions? I'll open up the floor for Thomas.
Well, apparently the Packers won't be trading Rodgers. I've just seen on Twitter the front office have decided to call his bluff, apparently. So it looks like he'll be staying in Green Bay at least for a little longer. So I think we are looking for Justin Fields right now.
It all sounds a bit toxic in Wisconsin.
It does. It really does. How do you see next year going? Where do you think you're going to fit in terms of your division because it's not any. I mean, not none of them are easy divisions really, but you have a terrific team that's just lacking a spark. I think.
Yeah, I think this team is a quarterback away from competing. Now, obviously, if that quarterback is Justin Fields, say, we're probably not going to compete this year because rookie quarterbacks don't often do that. But he could put us in position to compete in 2, 3, 4 years' time. You know, you'll have 5 years of him under team control where you can build around him. I think if the Broncos did get Aaron Rodgers, we'd be competing, right now. But I think, Justin Fields, if we can get him, he does set you up long term, doesn't he? You're hoping there that he can be a franchise quarterback for 10, 15 years. And, some would argue that that's better than getting someone for 3 years on a rental.
I think we were discussing obviously Atlanta's pick, and I think we thought quarterback could be the way, but we also kind of noted that the Falcons have lost so many games because the defense can't make a stop, and I thought that that they should trade back and pick a linebacker or get some more pass rush. How do you think Arthur Smith coming in as new head coach will kind of like alter the kind of plan?
I think they've got to try and get out of Matt Ryan what they can get out of, haven't they, in his last couple of years. He's going to be happy to have Kyle Pitts there. I think any quarterback in the NFL would be happy to have Kyle Pitts. I think their option was take a quarterback or go all in on Matt Ryan for 2 more years or whatever it is. And, they've opted for that route. I don't think they're going to win a Super Bowl, but, that's the route they've gone. And it gives opportunities.
Do you think the Pitts pick will be the end of Julio Jones?
I think I don't see why I don't understand why they would want to trade Jones, to be honest. That's all come out a bit bizarre from my point of view. I mean, he's one of the top wide receivers about. You've just got another potentially elite receiving option to put with him. You pair those two, who a defense is going to guard. It makes it so much more difficult.
Yeah. And Ridley as well. I mean, Ridley's quite underrated.
I mean, that's what we've seen with the Broncos doubling up on wide receivers last year. So, you get Cortland Sutton healthy. You've got Sutton, Judy, Noah Fant, KJ Hamler. It's, pick your poison. One of those guys, if you get a quarterback who can do enough, is going to eat and cause defenses all sorts of problems. So that's kind of why the Broncos are just a quarterback away, and why I wouldn't understand the Falcons would want to get rid of one of their elite weapons when they have got a good quarterback in place.
Is there anything about the draft, especially on day one, that you think is definitely going to happen that isn't being reported? You've kind of locked into a particular pick, or is there something you think that the league are like, well, this is just definitely going to happen, and you just don't see it?
I wasn't. I think the Mac Jones thing was. I just didn't understand why they would take Mac Jones at 3. I mean, Justin Fields. I mean, should the Jets really have taken Justin Fields? I think you could definitely make that argument that Fields is the second best quarterback in this class.
I would definitely make that case.
If the Broncos were picking 2, I think for me, it'd be a very difficult decision between Wilson and Fields. So yeah, I've not quite understood why Fields has been dropping down. I've seen on some boards he's dropped down into the teens. I just don't. I mean, there must be something behind the scenes there. That's one thing I don't get. I don't get the Justin Fields falling down or the Mac Jones going so high.
No, I agree. It's going to be interesting to see what happens to Fields in his next couple of picks and whether anyone trades down or takes him unexpectedly.
Yeah, I mean, you got to figure the Dolphins won't be in on a quarterback at 6, will they? So that's probably where someone could, the Broncos at 9, could they jump up to 6? The Dolphins, it's not going too far back.
And are there any players that you've kind of like picked out in the sort of first round of the draft that you absolutely don't want to see playing against the Falcons this year? like that end up at the Saints or the Panthers? Is there anyone that you really like just don't want to have to face?
I'm a Broncos fan, not a Falcons fan.
Sorry,
So,
so for the Raiders or the
yeah.
So I was just looking at Carl Pitts.
Don't worry. Yeah, I mean, I suppose you don't want, if one of them got Penny Sewell, it would make life a bit tougher for Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. I'd much rather they be going against what's already in the division. He's a guy that I would like to keep out of the division. But I mean, the Chiefs are pretty stacked already, aren't they? You know what you're going to get with them. The Chargers, they're going to be the Chargers. They'll probably find some way to muck it up, and the Raiders will probably draft someone no one had in their top 50. So, yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose Micah Parsons, I wouldn't like to see him in the division either, because I think character issues aside, the talent that he's got, if he had no character red flags, he'd be a perfect linebacker for this Broncos defense. But I'm just not sure whether the Broncos would make that pick of him.
What's been your favourite moment as a fan so far in your fandom in the last 9 years?
Well, that's Super Bowl 50 is, that's a moment that stands out. Obviously, that whole season was pretty special. I mean, the one game in that season, aside from the Super Bowl, that stands out is the Sunday night football game against the Patriots in the snow, when Von Miller took down Brady a few times and CJ Anderson scored the walk-off touchdown from 50 yards. That was kind of the big moment. And then obviously the Super Bowl is, it don't get any better than that, does it? And then, Peyton Manning walking away at the top, Von Miller just completely demolishing Cam Newton, breaking Cam Newton for the rest of his career. It seems like he's not been the same quarterback since that game. So, he don't get much better than Super Bowl 50. And hopefully the Broncos can get a quarterback who will take us back there in the not too distant future.
Is it, do you think Von Miller's going to be back to sort of full fitness this season? Have you heard any sort of whispers from like training camp or, in terms of whether he's going to be ready?
Yeah, he'll be ready to go. Obviously, you don't know how that's going to translate to a game when he's not played for been 2 years since he stepped on an NFL field, almost 18 months or so. So, yeah, you don't know how it's translate, but I think he's going to be good to go for training camp. He's been in working out. Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase is the pick for the Bengals.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Ooh, juicy.
That's
So now we're on to
wild.
number 6. So now it gets interesting.
Okay, so the Dolphins now have a big choice. Big choice. Do they take Sewell? Do they take Smith, Waddle, Parsons?
I can't see him taking Saul. I think they'll take a wide receiver.
And there'd still be a wide receiver there for them at 9, wouldn't they? If they did trade back with the Broncos, you would figure.
Yeah. Well, Waddle or Smith.
Yeah. I mean, who do you think the Lions will go for at 7?
Oh God.
Fields is
Fields
going to be there now.
It's
so
looking like it
we've
could
got
be
a big
Fields.
choice to make.
I can't see it being a quarterback. We could all be so wrong.
Man. This has thrown it all out of whack. I don't know what to think anymore.
My brain's scrambled.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what to do. What do we want? What do we want from Miami?
I mean, are they in on a wide receiver?
Yeah, I think so. I think they'll, and obviously
A wide receiver or trade back?
Well, there's the Tua Alabama connection, so I can see Tua played with both Waddle and Smith, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, possibly.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
it is.
Yes.
All right.
We all got this wrong.
Tom, I think that's going to do it for our time
Yeah.
with you. But thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything you
Yeah.
want to say before you leave, plug or what have you? So what happens in the? Is it just a Facebook group, the UK Denver Broncos, or?
Yeah, we're on Twitter at UK Denver Broncos. We've got our Facebook group which is the best place to join in the conversation. Really, if you just search Denver Broncos UK, it'll come up. Then we've got our weekly podcast as well. It's not been weekly for the last few months because it's been the off season. But we did our draft preview, and we'll be back on next week to review everything that's happened tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday. But yeah, thanks for having me on, guys, and good luck, and hopefully you get what you want, as long as it's not what the Broncos want as well.
And if there's anything you can do personally in terms of like pull any strings to kind of get Rodgers to Denver,
The pick's in already.
we'd be very happy.
It's in, so they're not trading.
No.
Oh Jesus, they knew who they were
Right.
taking, and that's Saul.
That's
It's
a
gotta
quick
be
pick,
Saul.
is that?
Saul
Right.
or Parsons. Right. Thanks very much.
I'll leave
Tom.
you guys.
Cheers,
Thanks for
Tom.
having me on.
Tom.
Cheers.